Morning all. It's about 10:30 on Monday scroll down. Monday the 12th of May. This is day 2 of my trip. This is How to Murder Feet. Hello, I'm Tim, etc. Oh God. Well, that was a good run. So I've just done my bike ride bit, my logistical bicycle transfer stage. Not bad. I think 1 hour 20 minutes for about 10 miles. That's not bad. That's a kind of good average. It felt easier today actually. It really did. Felt like obviously shorter. Oh God, didn't even know that any trains ran along here. I suppose this must be a working station at some point. Oh yeah, look, there it is. It goes to Lowestoft, which is no use to me today, hence the bicycle. I'm going off that way in a minute to Bawdsey Ferry. I'm in Melton train station. There it is. Once I've changed into my regulation hiking shirt and hat, I'll be on my way. I'm going to have a hunt around on this station, see if they've got any cold drinks. The station itself is actually an artisanal bespoke butcher's, I think, looking at the signage. Reuben's, which may or may not be open. I don't know. Hang on, is that someone going in? Someone going in the door? Yeah, okay, that's open. Let me serve cold drinks. I'll have a look in a minute. Otherwise, there might be a station platform vending machine that would do me a sprite. Wow, that's yeah. I think I might. If I heard that, I'd probably get off the level crossing too. There he goes. Just a little 2-carriage local jobber. Goes from Ipswich, I suppose. Yeah. Oh, there's an engine in the middle. Oh, interesting. Yeah, single track, no electric. Very regional out here. Anyway, yeah, so here's where I'm going to lock the bike for today. As you can see, it was there yesterday when I got back to it, so that was good. Threw it in the boot and was on my way. It's a good arrangement, as long as I can manage the cumulative effect of these bike rides. I mean, I did think I was a little bit more tired walking yesterday than I might otherwise have been, and a 15-mile bike ride after having never ridden more than a mile all year probably might do that, but I don't know. Had a good night's sleep, a good rest, plenty to eat and so on, lots to drink, so I'm feeling good. I'm in a good position to crack on and do the next bit. So today I'll get the maps out later, we've got Sutton Hoo, and I've just cycled past it and there was a big sign up front saying Time Team Live, but that's next week. So that's my typical timing. I mean, I probably wouldn't have much time to stop and look at Sutton Hoo anyway. Well, I think the path goes past it. So it's the Deben again today. It's the other bank, the opposite side, coming back out to Bawdsey Ferry again. And I think about half of it, maybe 2/3 of it, has actually got shoreline path access. And then I've got this whacking, I suspect, I'm going to have a look and see if there is a path, but the OS map and OpenStreetMap both think there isn't. The ECP says yes. That's a planning map, that's not an actual topographical guidebook. So I'll have a look when I get there, but there may be an enormous last third of the day trudging along the very same inland roads I've just cycled along, so that might be quite dull. So we'll see how we go. I think it's 12 miles, but I think I might have been under measuring again, so we'll see. Quite a day, and not much wind today, although glorious sunshine all day. So possibly not as much of a cooling breeze as yesterday, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to find a drink, sit about for a bit, because I do need just a bit of a rest before I crack on for the second half of this very feeble triathlon. So I need to do massive swimming stage at the end as well, and then I've got all 3 bits done. Although I would need to actually run the walking bit as well. Actually, no, it's not a triathlon at all. I'm going to go and sit down and have a drink and get changed and sorted out, reconfigure my bag, get that locked up, and then we'll head off. Okay, how about this for some press pause for more information? Actually, scan QR code for more information. Walking trail guide. Yeah. Anyway, love that helmet. So yeah, Sutton Hoo. This is me today. I'm basically here at the top, Sutton Hoo. I'm going to be about the bottom of this river here. So it's about 11 o'clock, and this is the nearest public transport to anything today. So, so I'm going to ignore it and move on. So we're heading across the road up there, up a hill, and then into Sutton Hoo Park area, whatever, and we'll see when we get there. Probably won't be a lot to see, to be honest, in the road and nearby footpath. Try and get back to the river on the other side first. Let's strike off. The old road trudge, quite unpleasant. I came whizzing down here about half an hour ago, that way. So there's a bus stop of sorts. Like one a day. I don't know, a couple a day. That's going that way though, I'd want the other side really. Well, I suppose I'd want, I don't know, does it come from Bawdsey? Oh, I don't know. No, I did a lot of research, I just couldn't make it work, hence the bike. So, you know, there we go. Here we are. Time Team live at Sutton Hoo. Join us as a Time Team Dig Sutton Hoo, 19th of May, which is literally next week, next Monday. So there you go. Another opportunity missed. It could be an absolute nuisance to Tony Robinson. Spout catchphrases at him that I doubt he's ever heard in a very long time. No, right, so I'm not actually going in there. That's where you go if you're in a car and are coming to visit for the day and have a poke about. Somewhere to the right there's a footpath that runs down the side of the place. That's the one I want, that will take me back down to the river in theory. Yeah, even if I was going right through it, I doubt I'd have time to have a proper look at anything really. As it is, I've got a 12-mile hike and I really want to get it done within 6 hours, so I have to keep a relatively steady pace all day. Yeah, maybe come back to this part of the world when I'm too old and knackered to actually do walking anymore and just visit these little places and hobble about with a stick. Actually see some of the things I walked past. Alright, there we go, that looks like me. Footpath. That's me, I've got feet. Excellent. Alright, let's get back to the river. That's the whole point of this exercise. Well, no, the point of this exercise is the coast, but you know, it's gone out the window a long time ago. Down here then, no cycling. Yes. Here we go. Some turf farm. It's also very immaculate. Oh yes, look at that. Delightful. People who can't be bothered or don't have the skill to grow their own lawn simply get one imported. There's a cricket pitch and a half. Right, I need to cut through here, which actually takes me into Sutton Hoo grounds anyway. National Trust. And then there's a path that cuts left. Follow that for a bit. Eventually wind my way some way down to the river, I hope. There's a little circular walking path through these grounds I need to follow for a little bit. So we'll do that. Not seeing any longboats. Visitor centres and museums and things. Lovely day out. Police matter. There we go. Right. Watch out for the livestock, I guess. It's all a bit squirrely around here, the navigation, river-wise. There's a lot of ins and outs and very close to the shore for much of the day. Just have to play it by ear and wing it as best I can. I'm trying to follow this field edge, I think, but on the actual path you're allowed to use. Farm track over the other side of the barbed wire. See where we end up. It's supposed to be a lovely little day out. More relaxed setting, but yeah, unfortunately I've got to crack on. Royal burial ground. Don't know if this is the bit where they found the actual boat, but big signs all over on the enclosure saying no metal detectoring. What you got? Viewing tower as well. Can't bother myself. I need to get on through here somehow and out the other side. Somewhere on the south end, on the far end of there. Is that south? That's probably, yeah, south. Why not? Should be a way onto another footpath that's outside of all of this and head on down to the river. That's what I'm hoping. I'll have to jump a fence. We'll see. A lot of irrigation out here as well. I'm trying to work out where that all comes from. Probably the drinking main, I suppose. Unless that's grey water from somewhere. Yeah. Ah, wow. I think I've seen entirely more than too much of Sutton Hoo than I wanted to. But I think we're finally back on track. We've escaped. It's going round and round. There was a whole load of fences I could have jumped to just get straight on with what I wanted, but there's a whole load of old people shuffling around staring at me, so, you know, and the exhibits, obviously, the burial stuff. So it didn't really feel quite right to just blatantly aggravated trespass in front of everyone. So went round and round a bit, found an actual path in the end. So yeah, I do try and follow the rules when I can. Right, that looks like a seawall defence. I think I'm finally on the other side of the river from Woodbridge, which is disappointing in terms of progress. I think this might be a long day. Getting all in all, getting a bit fed up with all these rivers. Still, let's crack on. Let's just enjoy the day anyway. Why not? This is supposed to be a holiday after all. So yeah, it's up onto there, and then hopefully we can get on with some river stuff. Head back towards the sea. You can see all the marinas and shipyards from yesterday. Finally on the opposite side. Yeah, good. Oh, some very unusual geography. A cliff in Suffolk. About 50 metres, something like that. A horrible thing I to see on top of there as well. I think this path zigzags and doubles back along the top at some point. Hey, still interesting. Very sandy soil there, look. Sand and gravel. Matches with what I see underfoot as I'm trudging along, like sandy sort of paths. This whole side of the country would wash away eventually. In fact, it does. Yeah, it's an unusual sight. That's probably why it was easy to bury all those Viking stuffs a bit further back there. Wow, it gets taller. About 70 there? Don't know. Hard to estimate. Exaggerating, I'm sure. But yes, I'm going to have to climb that, I suspect. I think the path does zigzag back. There's a shot of adrenaline to pick me up for the morning. Salutary lesson there about why you should watch your feet whilst walking forward and still holding a camera and filming stuff. Like I just didn't. I'm alright, I got a bit of stinging nettle on the arm there, but otherwise no damage. The phone seems alright as well, which is good. The microphone cable just yanked straight out, and then the phone went flying at a hell of a lick into some stinging nettles. It took me a few minutes to thrash my way back to where it was, and it was recording the whole time. So. But it did lose the sound there when the cable got yanked. Yeah, see, graceful like a swan, that's me. Anyway, good, right, so pick myself up, keep moving on. I did want to actually record this though. Look. It's the first one of these I've seen, well, first one I've noticed since the ferry at Felixstowe, since the start of yesterday. So that's great. It means I'm actually on the path finally. So we'll see how far this goes. Now I've picked up some signage, because the signage might answer a few questions I have about whether the path really exists for today, you know. Ooh, guided river tour. Yeah, there's some questionable routing later in the day, and I'm not sure if it's ready or open or done. But since people have been putting some of these in, it looks like that means there's some kind of oversight happening. So I'm going to just keep heading forward, keep looking for the signs. We're looking for a white acorn on a black background. You can see one on that next bridge as well. And use those where they pertain. If they peter out and I get lost, I'll have to just use my wits again. But yeah, I didn't see any yesterday, and arguably a lot of that path is much more straightforward and marked out and well known and established. So yeah, okay, right. Well, anyway, we've made it back to the river. That's Woodbridge over there, but it's taken quite a while to just do a very small amount of progress. All that Sutton Hoo nonsense. So we'll have to see. Just have to crack on. See how we do today. Also, I got the feeling of the start of a blister on my right foot, so on the ball. So we'll see. I have to straighten my sock up next time I find a bench. But God, I hope I don't have to end this trip early with wussy feet syndrome again. That's happened before. Hasn't happened on day trips before though, so could be a problem. We'll see. Yeah, someone's had a real good clear out along here. This bridge looks new as well. The wood seems fresh. built the bridge over the tree. They could just, like, you know, saw the tree up. No, fair enough. It's like 4 people in that tour boat. Well, it is a Monday, most people are at work. I don't think it's even a school holiday week. Alright, let's carry on and watch my feet. Check the floor, looks safe. Okay, yeah, still carrying on. Sort of snaking my way, zigzagging all the way around Sutton Hoo and back again. It's a really demoralising route around this area, to be honest. Looking forward to making some actual progress sometime soon. I think I've already been going an hour and I'm still less than a mile from Melton station. It's ridiculous. Turf. Cut it in strips for delivery, garden centres or whatever, commercial landscaping. Some bits of it lying around there. Takes a lot of water, I imagine. Actually, that doesn't look like grass over there anyway. It's some rows of something. We might go past it. Oh, so yes, worrying that today might be quite a long day, given all this shenanigans and shenanigans to follow later as well. It's quite hard to make any direct progress along here. I tell you what, if I had my time again, I might not decide to just, you know, I might decide to just ignore the whole no ferries thing. I mean, I checked actually some of the, went back to the ECP route stage map things for some of the stuff I've done in the past, you know, Cornwall, Devon, all that. And they almost all pretty much use the ferries there. Just for some reason around here. I don't know. It's like someone planning thought, yes, they definitely must explore the interior of Suffolk and Essex. But I'm doing the coast. It's kind of the thing here. If I hadn't... I've been sort of trying to work it out in my head, and if I'd have taken the Woolwich ferry across the Thames and then taken every available ferry from then on to now, I'd easily be north of Skegness by now, I reckon. I mean, some of these ferries have actually have cut off 4 days worth of hiking for me, or would have done. So, yeah, I don't know. You set yourself some rules, and at the end of the day, I'm the only judge, I'm the only arbiter of all this. If I decide I'm alright taking ferries and chopping route days off, that would be fine, but for some reason I feel like I need to do it properly. I need to follow the red line wherever it goes. Although interestingly, the red line doesn't even bother the Isle of Sheppey, so at least we're in agreement there. I may go back and visit the place one day, make a day trip of it, poke about a bit. Bugs me that I got thrown off of there. Thrown off at Binocular Point by a bossy RSPB lady. Please keep to the footpath. I'm trying. Private land. Yeah, it does a real stupid loop, a real squiggly loop in and around Sutton Hoo, and then the farms around it. And all of it's seawall. I was sort of of the impression that, gosh, this is a very nice lawn. Walking on their turf. But yeah, I was of the impression that all the seawall defences belong to the Environment Agency anyway, so what would be the big deal? But it seems not. Seems like a lot of them are private land. So yeah, here we are. Seeing a lot more of Sutton Hoo than I want. Not sure I'm ever going to get out of the place. I think if I get to the end of this tree border, it crosses onto a very long straight path that does indeed go right along the river a bit. Not quite along the edge, but puts me down river a fair bit. So let's hope. Nice long straight path that leads me back to my car. That's what I'd like right now. That'd be very welcome. Funny old morning. This blister doesn't flare up either, because it's only day 2. I expect to get at least 4 days before my feet give up, you know. Otherwise I'm going to have to sit around in the hotel for 3 days. I mean, could get a refund, I suppose, on the unused nights, but seems unlikely. Alright, let's keep walking, keep enjoying this meticulously mown lawn. Potatoes! Tell by the big leaves and the banked earth on the sides. Quite labour intensive to plant and pick. Quite fiddly, I imagine. Well, I suppose there's machines for that these days. Just remember, as a very small child helping my mum and dad on the potato harvest on the farm they worked on. Well, my dad anyway. My mum used to go along to help and take me with them. Very, very rural, very agrarian life. Moved to a city shortly afterwards and became more of a normal sort of office worker type. But I think that's just going all day. Apparently it's like the driest April on record has just gone or something, and this week here is not much better. I mean, from my perspective, it's great. From a hiker, it's going to be clear skies and blazing sunshine all week, and no rain at all. But I think if you're trying to grow a quite water-intensive crop like potatoes or lettuces, I've seen elsewhere, those little bag salad red ones, I've seen fields of that around this area. And they've all got those pumping away, throwing water all over the field, trying to irrigate it a bit. Presumably you move it every couple of hours, do another bit. Not really as good as actual rain, I shouldn't think. And I guess it comes from the mains, water main. I think that's probably, I don't know, you have to actually do some research and prove me wrong, but I think this is probably one of the number one uses of water in the country. And everyone's all like, oh, you've got hosepipe bans and make sure you fix all your leaky taps and stuff. But this and commercial industry as well use far more water than any individual of us will ever do, or all of us combined, I'm sure. Just growing food, isn't it? Food security. Presumably these end up in British food. Crisps, I suppose, mostly. Potatoes. Yeah, actually there was one of these misaligned on the road on the way right near the far end, and I cycled back through it and it was spraying up and over the road, and that was quite a delightful shower I wasn't expecting. Right, I'm not sure what that pole's all about. They stop people. Oh no, it's part of the feed system, isn't it? It's a water pipe, I think. Don't know. Oops. Right, over there. We'll get to the river again soon. I've given up caring, really. Just going to trudge on. I re-socked, so I think my foot might be a bit better now. Just got to make sure. FP, footpath, you think? Looks like they've given us some clues. Straight across the spud field. Potatoes can be quite poisonous, actually. Solanine, green stuff. Don't eat green potatoes. As any Minecrafter will know. Get quite poisonous. I think they're the same family as deadly nightshade or something, but I don't know, I could be making that up. Yeah. Oh yeah, look. It's the feed pipe. Oh, you can see it moving. It's like a giant snake. Oh! Oh, I see! Oh, that's very clever. The pipe is actually being reeled in, but very, very slowly. Into that big reel over there. Presumably that's some sort of powered motor in there or some sort. Yeah, I thought it was moving. Hear it creaking against the ground. Yeah, it's slowly moving, and that's dragging that thing with it. So it's over the course of the day. Don't know, a couple of hours, an hour maybe for it to get to the other end, perhaps. Does the whole field. Ah, that's clever. Better not stand on it then. Well, there we go. I learnt something. I thought that had to be done manually. I thought they came out and moved it by hand or something, but no, it's being very, very slowly reeled in all day. Clever. Actually, this is lovely. Immaculately manicured lawns on either side. commercial turf growing, and this beautiful row of, I don't know, are they ash, elder, elm? Don't know. Dutch elm's disease, isn't it? Ah, there's a forest near me where they've just given up on it. There's signs up saying, it's gone, we can't do anything about it. Watch out for falling dead wood, Seems like a real problem if you dig into it. It doesn't really bother most people, I suppose, but trees are just trees. But there's an entire species out there that's basically on the brink of extermination from some hideously invasive pathogen. I don't know if it's these or some other similar variety, but this is a surreal landscape. It's just don't see lawns this big generally. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and yet alien in a way, surreal, artificial. Yes, artificial. Nothing grows like this in nature. This is not a natural landscape. This row of trees is not natural either. Really, these are planted clearly. It's like a golf course, but without the sand pits, But the whole thing's the green. Oh, actually, I'm quite glad I came along here. don't see anything like this normally unless you go looking for it. Yeah. Right, so we got all the way to the end of here. Then I think there's possibly a thing on the right that takes us back to the river. Don't know. We're still flirting with the river at the moment. Just keeping it at arm's length. I'm a little concerned about how little linear progress I've made for how much time I've spent today. It's now got 12:15 and I reckon I've still got most of the 12 miles to do still. Don't know how I measured up the stuff over there. I did it again. I'm quite bad at measurements. I sort of approximate very badly with the Google string, you know, great big straight lines when I should be following contours and curves and coasts more accurately to get a better number. Planning in a hurry, that's my problem. I'm quite slapdash this whole endeavour, really. Alright, let's just head down and trudge on. Enjoy the shade, it's nice. Another big lawn field. This one looks a bit more patchy, to be honest. Not as well grown. It's probably a future year's crop. Don't know. Had all that one off. So I wonder if hosepipe bans apply to these people, commercial lawn growers, because they're trying to keep their grass nice and green in difficult weather, or whether they're allowed to just have at it anyway. It's a matter of livelihood for these people. Look, the river. Oh God. Calm, it's fine. I think a bit further ahead we rejoin it, but you know, that may be just wishful thinking. Right, let's carry on. Ah, blimey. Not sure I'm going to get any river mileage this trip. Alternative route inland. Damaged steps. Yeah. Since February, operate until August. Okay. Right, well, I guess I have to somehow work that into that alternative route. Okay, so going up there, I go up there, I suppose, instead. God, I better take a photo of this because it's going to be quite fiddly. So here we are, rebuffed from the river again. Still, I mean, it's a straight road that leads directly to the car. I mean, there's bends and things up ahead, but I can't argue with straight line progress mileage. But yeah, no sign of the river again. Might be a while before we see it, and even then fleetingly at that. I'm beginning to wonder if it might have been easier just to get off the bike at the station and literally walk back along the road to the car. And just give up on the river for this bit. This section of the England Coast Path is not ready for Coast Path prime time, it's really not. In retrospect, I'd recommend just take the ferry. I mean, the Suffolk Coast Path does, it just goes straight on across and carries on up. Different and distinct thing to the ECP. So this needs a lot of work. And even that small section there that actually is on the river shore is closed until August. So yeah, just a nice walk in the English countryside. Put aside all thoughts of the North Sea. We'll sort of see it at the very end of today, you know, just to remind people that this is supposed to be a shoreline thing. Good, just trudge on, not much more to report. Yeah, still plodding on, farmland mostly. Very yellow, although different colours of the soil, so I'm assuming this was laid as a track. Follow the yellow brick road. Various hallucinations about lions and robots and stuff. No, but this is good. This is direct, straight line progress toward the end of my goal, towards my car. That's good. Given all that absolute nonsense around Sutton Hoo, I say if I never see that place again, that'll be a day too soon. I'm sure they do fine work there, but in the Viking department. Anglo-Saxons, actually. I think that might be different and distinct to Vikings, but there you go. No, this is good. It feels like I'm getting somewhere now. Still a way to go, but that's okay. It's only, what is it? It's 1 o'clock-ish, so I've been going for 2 hours, more or less. 4 miles seems about right. So I don't know, 4 miles, I'm just guessing actually. A similar distance yesterday, and I ended up with a 5 o'clock finish, so another 8 miles from here perhaps, yeah, with a suitable drink break. I'm pinning a lot of hopes on the Ram's Halt Inn that I pointed out across the river yesterday. I'm hoping it's open and has lemonade and crisps. And I'm definitely going to stop for a proper lunch there, I think. Well, not a meal, but, you know, sit down for at least half an hour. Right, I think I go right here, according to the strange diagram. And then there's a left, and then there's another left, and then another right, and then another right. Yes, there's a lot of zigzagging to do before we get back to the river path. That's okay, like I say, it's all boots in the right direction. At some points in Sutton Hoo I was going in the opposite direction to the one I wanted, so that can be quite demoralising. I mean, I'm here to see the countryside and experience the journey and all that, certainly, but a more or less straight path towards the end of the day's goal is preferable. Gives you a sense of accomplishment, achievement, you know, inching your way north along the coast. No, not really until I get to Bawdsey. I'll be making actual straight line progress. That'll be tomorrow. Looking forward to that actually. Tomorrow we'll be on the sea again. Tomorrow we'll be taking the Suffolk coast path north out of Bawdsey to Chalesford ultimately, but there'll be a big section at the start that involves walking along the North Sea coast, which, you know, is kind of my bag, kind of why I'm here. So I'm looking forward to that. But I have to get today done first. And I'm still not sure about this the last third of today, which, you know, have got conflicting reports from various maps about what I should be doing there. I'll have to have a look on the ground and see what signage is there. If I see some kind of footpath sign pointing the direction I want to go, I'll take it. If I don't, I'm going to assume it's a trackless fen in which I will die if I set foot, and we'll take a quite a bit longer and more tedious inland road detour route. That's the brakes, that's what you got to do. So let's get to the pub first for the mid-afternoon stop, then we'll contemplate the afternoon session when we get there. Right, I think this one's the left. Just a jump to the right, and then a step to the left. Is that? No, I've got that the wrong way around, have I? Anyway, let's go that way. There we go. Made it to the other end of the detour. Quite a large one. That's what the scale on that map is. Scale 1 to 9,388. That's not helpful. Anyway, if there's a kilometre grid squares, which feels about right, then that 2 kilometres, yeah. A mile or 2 or 3 miles, it's fine. So that way leads back along the river, down to the river, or along it even, through that hedge. So I reckon I got about an hour or two, no, an hour, well, yeah, about a mile or two to the pub, probably, about an hour. Hopefully it's open. Otherwise, yeah, well, I'll have a sit and drink of my own water if it isn't, that's fine. Probably about 6 miles in total. It feels like we're about halfway today. And it is 1:15, so yeah, not doing too bad. I'm not predicting any time finish at all, to be honest. Given that yesterday was a 5 o'clock finish, I don't know. It feels like I'm getting further faster today. I think I must have really undermeasured that one across the other side there. I don't know. We'll see. A lot of it depends on what happens when we are after the pub. When I check out my intended route versus my inland road detour route. I'm looking at 5 or 6 finish if I have to trudge along the road. So yeah. Oh, estimation's a fool's game. I only worry at all because they stop serving dinner at the hotel at 8:30. So, you know. But if I'm out beyond there, I can just grab some stuff from a garage on the way home and have a little picnic in my room. It's fine. The evening meal wasn't inclusive, so, you know, save me a bit of money. There we go. Look, the river at last. And I think we get a good 2 or 3 miles. Well, a good mile or two anyway. Certainly up to the pub, it's all along the river bank next, unless there's another unexpected path collapse or something. Can't even see where I would have joined the river. That red building in the middle, can't zoom at the moment. I think that was sort of where the detour started, somewhere around that big building. Up on the hill, don't know, doesn't matter, done. Never coming this way again. That's the nice thing about what I do, you know. Well, and also one of the reasons I bring the bicycle is so I don't have to retrace my steps along the same route at any time. So what have we got over there? Is that Waldringham? Yeah, trees in the way. Well, a better view just up ahead, but yeah, the pub I stopped at yesterday. That's just across there, I think. You can see it through the tree. Mind you, I did feel a bit late in the day by the time I'd got there, so that's not as encouraging as it could be. Whatever. Just worrying about times and schedules and stuff. I mean, I've gone to great lengths to engineer this particular trip and subsequent trips to really be completely independent of timetables, bus schedules, train stops, you know, anything like that, ferry timetables, none of that. I don't need any of it. Turn up when I like, walk as long as I like, go back when I like. I mean, theoretically, I don't know, I think I could probably check into my hotel any time up to like midnight and beyond. They have night staff on the desk, so I mean, if I'm still out here after dark, something's gone wrong, because that's about half 8 and 9 o'clock at the moment, so I don't anticipate that kind of trouble. No, it's basically me versus my own endurance at the moment. I'm tiring, but holding up. Thinking ahead to the rest of the week. It's about the same again tomorrow, but then Wednesday is quite a long one, 18 miles of walking, although only a 5-mile bike ride, interestingly, because of the layout of it all. It's essentially quite a big loop around a river bend, but the straight line from start to finish is actually quite short. So very little cycling on Wednesday, but quite a lot of walking, so we'll see how that goes. I mean, and some of that's undocumented coast path not there type bullshit again as well, so we have to improvise with some inland detouring as well on then. And then Thursday I'll check out the hotel in the morning, pack everything in the car, and then just go park up and do the last sort of 5 or 6 miles from Snape to Aldborough. So that should be fine. Not anticipating any troubles there. That's the sort of last half day, and then I'm going to immediately drive home back to Berkshire. So I've done that before. I mean, I've driven home after these trips and been all right. I have to just go have quite a few caffeine drinks, make sure I'm alert enough on the car. But I'm never so physically tired I can't operate the pedals or steering wheel or anything like that. It's more the mental alertness I need to keep an eye on. Whereas I'll spend another night in the hotel. But no, this all works out well. That's the plan anyway. Enough about that. Oh, there's a bench. I think I might sit down for a little bit and take in the view. Actually, I don't necessarily need to rest, but it's just quite a nice spot. Yeah, so that is Waldringham Ford, or whatever it was called. The Maybush Inn directly across. And I have my lemonade. So yeah, all of that's done. All of the upstream estuary nonsense taken care of. There's a high tide at the moment as well, which is nice. I do prefer a high tide river. Doesn't look as grubby. That's mud on display. Just shimmering blue. Sailing boats at anchor. Anybody out sailing today? Oh yeah, there's one. Middle distance. It's Monday. Everyone should be at work. Right, so yeah, I just need to traipse on along this seawall all the way now, and down to that, probably where those trees are, maybe just the other side of those trees, I'm not sure. A bit beyond that is the pub I'm aiming at for lunch, well, late afternoon stop. But for now, I'm just going to sit and enjoy the breeze for a bit. That's the nice thing about being down on the riverfront again, out from all of that, is there's less wind shade, so I pick up the breeze a bit more often now. It's a bit lighter today than it was yesterday, so it's not quite as cooling as it was. Alright, have a little bit of a rest and then trudge on along all this. And I reckon the pub's probably by those trees. We'll see. Looks like about a mile or two. Don't know. Yeah, very high tide. There's a boat. Let's try some zoom skills. Yeah, living the dream. One day. A foolish hope, I think. I'm not sure I'm even really that interested in sailing, but it just seems such an idyllic life. Big white sails fluttering, serenely gliding along. Don't really see the mooring fees and the maintenance and so on. Right, nearly at the end of this long straight bit, and then on to another long straight bit. It's all good. So the pub's a bit the other side of those trees, but that's okay. See how far out the reeds come on that far side bank there. I missed all of that because I think we were up on that ridge top along with the trees, doing an alternative route. Some broken seawall somewhere along there. Alright, yeah. Got that sort of stoic, head down, mind completely elsewhere trudging thing going on now, so it's just good. It gets the miles eaten up. It's like putting my brain into cryostasis whilst my body gets on with the mileage. Which is bad, really. I should be experiencing it all, you know. I do experience a lot of it. Oh, big towering cloud over there. I saw on the weather today, back home in Berkshire, it's thunderstorms and yellow thunderstorm warning for like most of the west of England. But hey ho, here I am. A single cloud in the sky and generally a beautiful weather. I'm going to take that personally. It's obviously meant for me. It's an omen. My good fortune. Alright, head down, trudge on a bit more. Got a lemonade with my name on it somewhere up there. Oh, I haven't done a current affairs bit yet. Because, you know, in addition to these being hugely entertaining in and of their own right, I do use these as sort of holiday scrapbooks, and I often find it helps to have put some sort of context on what is ultimately a multi-year endeavour that I'm doing, just to remind myself what was going on in the rest of the world at the time while I'm rewatching these back like a sad old man, you know. So where were we at? Well, let's see. So May 2025, we're about 5 months into a Donald Trump second presidency, which is going about as chaotically as you might imagine. As far as I can tell, I think he's declared war on trade, which is, you know, mixing it up from war on terror. He's putting like tariffs on everyone, although I think the news this morning, China and the US have agreed that to only tariff each other 10% now. So maybe that was all just bargaining bluster. Who knows with that guy. So Ukraine and Russia are still having a bit of a dust off. That's about 3 years in now. Trump and Putin are trying to pressure Zelensky into some sort of ceasefire and peace agreement in which he gives up ownership of a lot of what used to be Ukraine, I think. Not sure how that's going to go. Although it does seem like all the people who are donating vast amounts of weapons and funds are getting a bit tired of the lack of sudden Hollywood turnaround that seems to have failed to materialise. There you go. Turns out real war's more complicated than that, I guess. India and Pakistan, yeah, that's new. I think that might have yesterday might have ceasefire actually. But yes, I think there's about 4 days of them having essentially a border conflict in Kashmir that escalated greatly. You know, two nuclear powers. Israel and Palestine, yeah, that's all going on. That will never stop, I don't think. To be fair, it hasn't really stopped since like the British gave up and left the place. Similar to Kashmir and Pakistan and India. You know, when you look back in history, a lot of these ongoing, never-ending, low-grade conflicts are Britain's fault. I feel kind of bad. I apologise insofar as I had any kind of involvement. And yeah, I think that's probably it on the world stage. But yeah. You sort of get numb to it, really. And the number of vectors for proper World War III, you know, the sort of World War III we were taught about in the 80s, ongoing at the moment. So, you know, I come out here and I walk. I try not to think about how close we are to some kind of escalatory nuclear inferno. It's all good times. But yes, but I'm enjoying myself right now, so that's okay. As long as I can keep walking on the coast. Speaking of nuclear, we don't get a nuclear power station this week, but the week after, north out of Aldborough, probably sort of July time, we'll go past Sizewell. So there you go, that'd be nice. I think that might actually be an operational one too. I mean, most of the nuclear power stations I've wandered past in these adventures tend to be decommissioned or decommissioning. So yeah, all good. Something to look forward to. Gosh, where is that lemonade? I'm really quite looking forward to that now. I've got water still, got about a bottle and a third left still, and probably 6 miles to do all in today. So I don't see myself running out or dehydrating to death today, so that's good. Enjoy. I managed to get through. I got a few drinks for my hotel room just on the way back last time, you know, a couple of bottles of Pepsi or whatever. Got a few 5 of those last night. And you know, I'm sure I've remarked before a lot about how I often find myself needing an extra water bottle just for the night when I'm camping, because I just get through a lot of water in the evenings. My body's desperately trying to fix itself and rehydrate everything, I guess. Still, that's fine, yeah. I keep plying myself with as much liquid as I need. I have to watch out for the salt though. I need to make sure I don't. I mean, lots of pop fizzy drinks have got salt in as well, you know. But and snacks. I had bacon this morning for fried breakfast, so it all goes in there. But yeah, one of the dangers with all this water malarkey is if you go too mad trying to avoid dehydration and just keep pouring water in, you essentially, you're not drowning, you basically dilute your salt content to the point where your body starts to have trouble. So it's always important to have a bag of crisps with your lemonade. That's what I do. Take some nuts or something, salted nuts with you. Oh, dragonflies. Oh, they're gone. Yeah. So yes, so not only am I looking forward to lemonade, but a bag of crisps too. So let's head down and get on with it, get there. Cliff top pine path thing here. They don't do very big cliffs here in this part of the country, but quite interesting when they appear. Sand, I won't want to go near any of that edge. Some sort of abandoned, being worked on, I don't know. It's paint and rags on it, maybe it's being restored. It's nice breeze up here as well, whispering pines. So if you can hear that as much as I can. Muffly microphone clip-on thing. It's good. I'd hope we're more than halfway now. Pub should be just over this headland and around a little bit, so that should be good. I intend to have a good solid rest. Let's see, it's 2 o'clock exactly right now. So I make myself take half an hour and then ponder the last stage, which is either a really wild and potentially unsupported seawall path for the last 3-4 miles, or a significant inland road detour that probably has another 2 miles on top, making another 6 miles of trudging along dangerous bends and tarmac. So I'm not looking forward to either, really. Got to pick one. I think if I could choose, I'd choose the seawall, but it does need to be a continuous usable path, otherwise I'm going to have to get like a mile in, discover I can't get any further, turn around and then do the 6 miles on the other route anyway as well, which would be a bit of a bugger. I wouldn't like that. On the edge, watch your foot, watch your footing. Don't want to go for another tumble. Signs of encroaching old age, coordination, etc. I'm going to put the phone away for a bit actually. Ah yeah, this is the stuff. This is what I signed up for. Well, I mean, technically the sea, but you know, this is good too. Right. Traipsing through field margins and country lanes inland nonsense. This is why I'm here. See the sun shimmering off the waves, which you can sort of get in the rivers too. Alright, so I can just about see the centre shot, that white building there with the red roof sticking out. That's the pub. So we're 20 minutes away, I'd say. Head down, trudge on, get drunk. Yeah. Just thinking how much fun this would be in the rain. I think I really have lucked out with the weather this week. It's great. Dry paths all the way so far. Picturesque church on a hill. Is it Norman? I don't know. Something squares with buttresses in Norman, but it could be Anglo-Saxon. There's a lot of that around here too. I don't really know. Cool little hidden getaway there. Retirement place, or writer or poet's residence, I imagine. Local swamp. And the river. Old Man River. The Deben, or Deben, however you pronounce that. The last of the big bastard rivers that have been in my way. I mean, there's the Arle to deal with tomorrow and the day after, but beyond that, that's a weird hooky loopy one. But yes, this is the last of the straight out day up day back down jobs. Trying to remember them all. The Thames, obviously, yes. Then there was the Crouch, Burnham on Crouch. I think there might have been one before that as well. There was some side channel, the Roach, River Roach, yes, get the branches off the Crouch down to Rochford. There was a lot of nonsense around Foulness Island. Yeah. And we had, well, I can't remember what the one that Melton terminates at. That was another one, wasn't it? Different one again. I forget the name of that one. Stour, maybe? No, because that's the Stour and the Orwell. Which might be Stour, I don't know. Stour and the Orwell, which is the previous week. And then there's this one, the Deben. Got the Or and the Arl. No, the Old, not Arl, to do still. And then after that, nothing until like King's Lynn, and then there's like a bridge over whatever river comes out of King's Lynn. And there's a big, well, there's a whole load of Norfolk Broads north of here, but that all comes out at Yarmouth, presumably the Yar. But there's just massive loads of bridges all over the place, all the way going north from there. So I won't have to go all the way up to the headwater of the Norfolk Broads. I'll just need to shuffle over whatever busy pedestrian, whatever pavement there is alongside the busy bridge over the town in Great Yarmouth. And there's a couple more rivers along this coast, Norfolk, but they've all got bridges. Big road bridges right near the mouth, which is sensible, you know. Something all these could learn from. Well, this is quite wide and marshy, so maybe a bridge is not really justifiable. They're going to put a tunnel under the Thames, is the latest big scheme I read about recently. All around the marshes, sort of around where the London Stone was that I was showing. So basically it'll connect Tilbury Docks sort of area, DP World Gateway, that kind of Rainham Marshes, somewhere around there. Connect to just straight to the south, go under the Thames, big tunnel. Makes it even more accessible crossing than the Dartford Bridge, which I never went across in all my travels actually. For starters, no pedestrian access, so couldn't use it to do the actual walk, and also all my day tripping I either went south around the M25 or north around the M25. But I only learned recently that bridge is southbound only. If you go northbound, you've got to go under the tunnel. There's a Dartford tunnel as well. So yeah, can be done if it's important enough, I suppose. Not sure what's happening with the Stonehenge tunnel though. Is that going on the back burner along with HS2 northern connections? Who knows? Anyway, a bit more current affairs for you. Come on, stop dawdling and yammering. The pub's just around that corner past those trees. I desperately need a lemonade. May even have two. Looks open too. Splendid. I think I might have had a small cry if it hadn't been open. Let's go and get some lemonade. I did have two lemonades in the end because I don't know when I'm next going to see a shop or a bar or pub or whatever. So that doesn't go anywhere. There's no pathway through there. If I go up there, on the right will be a car park, and there might, it's very, very slim, might be a footpath off across the seawall down there. That's about 4 miles worth of zigzaggy. Which will put me back at the ferry, which you can sort of see out in the trees just on the horizon there. That's where the car is, about 4 miles away. Now if there is no path onto the seawall, and most of my maps seem to think there isn't, then I have to do an inland detour, which Google tells me will take me 2 hours, but Google thinks I walk faster than I do. Google puts that at 5.5 miles inland trudging, which will put me back to the car as well. It'll take me probably closer to 3 hours. I think it's getting on for just about 10 to 3 now, so probably maybe even a 6 o'clock finish by the car. So that's okay, but there's only half an hour back to where the bike is. Load that in and then back to the hotel. Should be back in time for dinner, I suppose. But yeah, today's taken longer than I thought. I reckon I must have measured up based on the seawall then. Really got to work on this measuring. Caught me out before. You've got to learn. Right, let's go find this car park and see what the deal is. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking, onto the maps, if it did exist, the start of it would be here, but that clearly says go away. This is just a car park for the pub. Overflowed car park. Sorry, coffee got a bit of frostburn in the lungs after drinking too much super cold lemonade too quickly. So I'm inclined to think that that's a no then. I mean, if I could jump the fence and trespass onto it, I imagine it's full of hogweed and brambles and nesting adders and all sorts. Yeah, it's a shame. It would have been a useful route. And the England Coast Path Planning route has me going along there, but obviously not yet. As you can see, that whole swathe of green in the middle is essentially bog. Well, it's farmland, but there's no public paths across it. There's a few local farm tracks and things, but it's all going to be private property. And I'm mellowing in my old age when it comes to aggravated trespass, I really am. Anyway, you can see the white houses in the very distance. That's pretty much where I need to be. My car is slightly to the left of those on the yellow bit. Well, I hope it still is anyway. Most of the parking over there said between 8 AM and 9 PM, 4 hours, no return within 4 hours. But I found a couple of parking spaces that didn't actually have those plates on, even though it might be implied. So, being a bit cheeky there, but we'll see. But I mean, there's nothing down there. There's a PGL centre slightly to the left, sort of outward bound youth training adventure week things, residential thing. And then there's the ferry, obviously, which is a foot ferry. So there's nothing there really, car wise. So it's not going to be a super busy car park, I shouldn't think. And I have to get there, which involves quite a lot of inland. 5.5 miles round trip. So that's going to bring today up to at least 15, I reckon, when I measure it properly. Which I ought to be able to do, but I've been trying to stage on the low end to compensate for my ridiculous staging underestimation in the past. So, I don't know, swings and roundabouts. I think I'm alright. 2 lemonades. I may need to urinate in a hedge at some point soon, but for the moment I'm well adequately hydrated, and I've had a bag of crisps too, so the salt should be okay. Just have to head down and trudge on. As I remember from my bike ride, Alderton, village up ahead, did have a shop. So maybe I have to get another cold drink there if I make it that far. But, yes. And display, even out here. Right. I'm just going to have to head down and trudge on. This is going to be really tedious, this last part of the day. 2 hours I'm never going to get back. Still, there we go. It's all part and parcel of the grand adventure. Got to get the miles done, however you need to do them. There we go. Trudging along. Nice empty country lane. Just dive into the hedge either side if I hear a car coming. This feels like the right choice, though. I mean, to be honest, I had no real idea at all if that was actually physically accessible from one end to the other. That would be the real kicker. You get like 2 miles in and then find something you literally cannot cross. A big old outwash or something, no bridge. Then I'd have to double back and then do this. This is longer, but it's more guaranteed, and I've already cycled a lot of this route already once this morning, so I know it's good. Tractor coming, watch out. Got some harvesting going on here. What's in there? That looks like lettuces, I think. The loose leaf ones. Open leaf curly lettuce. Imagine they're probably quite thirsty. Got polythene there, I guess that was covering them until fairly recently as well. Condensation keeping the moisture in, I suppose, or protection from frost. It's not been very cold lately, actually, the last couple of months. Haven't had a proper winter snap that I can remember. Yeah. Busy. I put the camera away, I might think I'm looking for illegal immigrant employment violations. So, purple ones there, different sorts of lettuces, leaves, obviously bag salad stuff. Big gang of folks with high-vis jackets over there. I guess you can't really machine harvest this stuff very easily. It's too delicate, fiddly. Stick to people. There we go. I mean, Bawdsey Ferry itself is probably another mile beyond, but even so, that's alright, making progress. And you know, boring as roads are, they do make for good progress. It's kind of it's kind of their only job. It's kind of their sole intended function, to expedite travel. Yeah, that's nice enough up here. Meditative. Just empty my mind, you know. Actually, to be honest, I was considering my current video game lineup and rotation. I'm spending a lot of time with Rift, Plains of Talara at the moment. Purely a retro exercise, because I think last time I was active in there was about 8 years ago, so I've got quite nostalgic lately, and I was surprised to find they still had all my characters, so I sailed my way through the Storm Legion, up to Storm Legion stuff. Just the gameplay is pretty dull, you know, it's just hotkey combat, you know, wait for the clock to expire, push the button again, you know, but the world design and world building in there is fantastic, and I've always enjoyed it. And it's like a virtual tourist thing, you know, I was literally revisiting haunts of my youth in a virtual world. That's what I do a lot in video games lately. Doing the same with Star Trek Online a bit at the moment as well, just to remind myself of what that was like. Not really pick them up as a kind of perspective, yes, this is my game now. So yeah, playing these. Far Cry 5. You know, what with the current situation in America and everything, I just can't get over how hilarious Far Cry 5 is. For those who don't know, it's essentially an Ubisoft, you know, collect all the world, go and do the world things, collect the things, liberate the regions, but it's set in a fictional Montana. Fictional county, Hope County in Montana, a made-up bit of place that's been absolutely overrun by a sort of Adventist, religious, Christian, fascist cult who've just taken over all law and order there, and you're cast in the role of a sort of deputy marshal sheriff guy who has to try and sort things out, one outpost at a time. It's very good, very well done actually, I like it. Got a good combination of intriguing story and excellent voice acting and characterisation, and also very solid gameplay, gunplay, explore play. All good, I like that. I'll probably try and 100% that if I can. I've been getting into achievements a lot lately, you know, Steam achievements. I was always very dismissive of them before, but now I start to see them as a way to squeeze the most out of a game I'd previously enjoyed a lot but had run out of main story on, you know. So there you go. It's my token video game roundup bit. Used to be a video game podcaster, you know. If you search far enough back in this channel, you'll find some of that still. But yes, considering what game to engage with next again, whether it's an old classic, an old favourite, or get something brand new. Looking forward to Baldur's Gate 3. I'm looking for a good Steam deep dive sale on that though, you know. Wait for 15 quid or something. Still rocking along at 50 quid quite comfortably. Very popular, lots of accolades and acclamation. I always like that kind of game. I might instead just fire up Baldur's Gate 1 Enhanced Edition and start from the scratch, you know. But yes, all that stuff. Alright, let's carry on thinking about some of that, I suppose. Speak to you again soon. That's novel. Never seen a palm tree hosting a wisteria before. And a dog rose in there as well. God, a mess. I love it. Alright, coming up on Alderton. This is the first of my 3 villages on this inland leg. Nice, yeah, basically we get to a junction at the end, and that'll be the road I cycled along, right to left, to park at the station in the morning. So, and I've already seen some of it, and I do remember there being it has a little shop. So, hopefully not a local shop for local people. But we'll see. Hopefully they've got ice cream though and cold drinks, because I think I just keep piling it on. I'm sure my body will tell me when to stop drinking lemonade. Seems to have really given me a kick through this last section though. I've done that whole 2 miles or something pretty much without stopping or feeling particularly weary, so either the crisps or the lemonade helped. So yeah, so I may stop for a Magnum or something, get an ice cream, see what they got. It looks like a very little shop though, so I'm not keeping huge hopes up, but hopefully they'll still be open at least. Then so from there it's about another mile down to Bawdsey, and then from there it's about another mile and a half from Bawdsey to Bawdsey Ferry. The Bawdsey Ferry doesn't really have a lot there. It's not really part of the village proper, so yeah, bit of a trudge still to do. It's alright, I'm feeling okay. And I'll get there when I get there, you know. I have no idea about timings and stuff at the moment, not really been keeping track. As long as I'm back before, I'm going to stop walking before dark, I'll be happy, to be honest. Although I probably don't want to be picking my bicycle up after dark, that'd look a bit suspicious. Oh, another wisteria, lovely. This is Alderton, shop down the end there, bought a Sprite. Pub there, not open Mondays or Tuesdays. Bus shelter also doubles as a are they DVDs in there as well? Jigsaw puzzles? Brilliant. Right, I need to crack on. So Bawdsey's a mile this way, and then there's a bit more to do after that. Well, that was Bawdsey, where not a lot happens, which is exactly how some people like it. Is that even a pub or something up there? I've seen a few things that might have been shops or pubs once upon a time, but just houses now. I guess they all go off to Woodbridge for the big shop. Right, so it's 4 o'clock. We've got another mile or two to go. Should put me back at the car at 5, yeah. Homing in on the end now. You know, I think that might be the first time I've seen the sea all day, and yesterday. That blue haze just beyond the greenery there. There should be plenty of that tomorrow anyway, that's good. Yeah, I think I'm just about done for the day. This is about the right distance, I think, all in all. And frankly, it's been a bit of a disappointing day. I got from the start to the finish, or nearly got to the finish. I doubt that's not going to happen, but almost none of it along the river. So yeah. Yeah, a bit of a bust, to be honest. The River Deben. What paths are there are entirely incidental. I've only seen that one single England Coast Path acorn on that bit of woodwork near where I fell over. Nothing else on either day going up or down the Deben. So I'd say this is some way from being completed. Still, I won't have to worry about it again. Get to the car park, and then I'm back on the Suffolk Coast Path tomorrow, which I think may come along some of this a bit inland and then back to the shore again. Goes around the Radar Museum and the PGL Centre, but that'll be good. I miss the sound of waves and crashing pebbles on a beach, you know. I've seen that for, well, I mean, technically the Felixstowe half day on the last trip was along the shore, but that was only after 4 more days of river as well. So, oh yeah, definitely see it properly now. Hang on, let me come back in zoom mode. There we go, 20 times zoom. Well, that's definitely the sea. Looking forward to it. It'll be good to be back on the shore. Anyway, I've got to finish the day first. About a mile more trudging, another half hour or so. Are you kidding me? Is that a bus? Oh well. No, I'm not. I don't regret doing it by bike instead at all. I think this is a great move for me because it makes me independent of missing bus pickups. Because remember, I'm not actually there. If I was relying on getting that bus, I probably wouldn't make it because I'm still about half a mile away from the end. Oh, and anyway, it's a private school bus anyway, so couldn't have used it anyway. No. Stick to the bike. The bike's been really good for me so far. We'll see how it is by the end of the week. I'll give you a full assessment, but yeah, don't need buses anymore or trains. I am done with that stuff. Start thinking back. I'm pretty sure one time in 3. And the last times I tried to use buses and trains for these trips, including the backpack stuff where I need a train or bus to get to the start and one to get home again. I think one time in 3 I've been messed about in some manner. Timetables, or the bus driver just didn't stop at the stop I was clearly waiting at. That happened one time near Colchester. You know, train just not happening at all. Had to get a mega bus from like Reading to flipping Heathrow to Gatwick to Canterbury for the Margate week because the trains weren't happening. And it's just nonsense. really. I see why they're in a state of managed decline, because people can't rely on them, so they don't use them, so nobody uses them, so there's no justification to keep running them. So spirals into nothingness. Look, you can see the seawall by the river where I would have been. Oh well. So yes, I'm done with public transport. Which is a shame, you know. I like to support it if I can, but if it's useless, then why have it at all? Get on my own bicycle and ride. Right, coming around towards the end, I think. Keep telling myself that. Oh, we're there yet. You know, this is the third time I've been along this road today. Once to drop the car off, then I cycled back. Now I'm walking along. Then I'll have to drive back along it once I've got to the car. And I think tomorrow I'm going along it again. Because I think the Suffolk Coast Path doesn't go on that side of the cliffs, just on this bit because of erosion. So we have to do this bit again tomorrow twice. Cycle down here to dump the bike and then walk back. Get more than intimately familiar with it. Oh, it's got a pavement. Let's use that. Reduce my chances of being murdered by a car. Or manslaughtered by a car, you know. I don't think anyone's out to actually kill me. Mind you, it's got heavy tyre marks, truck tyres or bus tyres running along it, so who knows. Right, radio transmitter is part of the Bawdsey Manor Radar Museum, which, according to a sign I saw earlier today on one of my many visits along this road, is only open Thursdays and Saturdays between April and October, so no visit for us. Keep meaning to go and visit Bletchley Park at some point as well. I never quite get around to that either. I mean, war tech is fascinating, but you know, it comes with a slightly distasteful air of this is used to indirectly kill people. So I don't know. We'll defend our proud island nation. Depends how you look at it. But yes, I imagine there's all sorts of very clever boffinery in there to look at on display boards about the invention of radar specifically, which many people tout as being what gave us the tactical advantage, well, strategic advantage over Nazi Germany during the Second World War. But yeah, to me it's just a landmark really. Just keep walking. There we go, told you. As you are interested, I think one of Michael Portillo's train programmes spends quite a bit of time in there. One of my guilty pleasures on like yesterday and you and tomorrow, like that, down in the high double digits on the Freeview box. Adults, £9. Yeah. Actually, I don't know what he was doing here because nearest railway. Well, I mean, I have just walked from the nearest train station today. It's taken me about 5-6 hours. So, unless you go over the ferry to Felixstowe, then that might be technically a nearer train station. He's exceeding his brief. Well, he does spend quite a lot of time not on the train. I found myself disappointed. I mean, what it would be like if I just stopped and looked at interesting stuff all the time instead of spent all my time filming me walking in a straight line. Huh? Yeah. Right, can't be that much further now. It's the PGL place somewhere along here as well. And then there's the ferry. There's not much else along this road. Just gonna have to head down and walk it. Well, yeah, we're basically there. I mean, this is where I thought this is where the seawall ends. This is where I thought the path would come out, and I can see sort of a bit of foot traffic up there, but that might be animals. There's a lot of sheep along there. There's a sort of a stile here, but no signage. This kind of makes me think I did make the right call. It's private farmland, really. Oh well, we're here. Don't worry about all this restricted parking. I'm wondering if I did leave it in a correctly marked bay. Hey ho. Find out any moment now. So yeah, general parking. I should have gone in there really. No overnight camping, yeah, that's fine. Don't want to be here overnight. But then the rest of it's got all this clearway sort of, oh, what's the one with one stripe through it? I forget what that's called, but you get the idea. But I was off the road in an actual day, but not one that had a marker saying 4 hours, so I don't know. To be honest, I think I'm probably worrying over nothing. It's just like really is in the middle of nowhere, and it's a Monday. So, you know, we'll see. Ta-da! There it is, and it's not on fire, and it doesn't have a fixed penalty notice under a windscreen wiper, I don't think. Good, mission accomplished. I'm going to carry on down to the actual ferry itself though, because I probably need to tick that box. But yeah, it's good to know my car exists still as a free entity. Good. Alright, so a bit of a trudge along here to the actual ferry terminus, and then we're done. Do like a sign. Press pause for more information. Yeah, so yes, that's us here now. Did all this, no, not that, no, that's the wrong one. Here we are, we're here, this one, red bit. And we came down here where there is no path, damn it. We're going to go up here tomorrow to possibly to Chelmsford, which is there. And then we have to make a decision about whether follow the England coast path and just cheat and go up there, or go all the way around here where the ECP reckons I ought to go. And of course the ECP has got a very poor track record with me this week. Beginning to not trust its website. It's all very well to have planning proposals for a stretch, but my god. Right, let's get to the end. It's this lovely picturesque Bawdsey Quay. Middle of nowhere. There's all the Felixstowe gubbins on the other side. Oh, here we are. Bawdsey Ferry. 2 days later. It's literally a 3-minute journey. It costs about £6, I imagine. Wave back for ferry now, I'm fine. And there's the sea, look. See more of that tomorrow. Right, well, I mean, I found the car is okay. I need to go and find the bike, put that all back inside, and then head back to the hotel for a shower and a big dinner. And then I shall join you again tomorrow, starting here after having done another 10-mile bike ride. So thanks for watching and stuff, and like, follow and subscribe to someone else. To be honest, I don't need them, it's fine. See you later, goodbye.